What up, what up, what up? What's going on, everyone?
Hi.
Happy Friday. Oh, go ahead.
Hi.
Oh, happy Friday, happy Friday. Oh, man, what's good? I'm so happy. I swear, I always look forward to Fridays where I'm just like, yo, it's the weekend.
Man,
I can just chill. I don't do anything. You got weddings, you got work, you got stuff you gotta do. I'm like, I'm just cruising down the block in my 6'4", jacking the pimping the. You don't know that song?
Yes, I do.
Oh, look at you, girl! Look at you. So what's going on, everyone? I'm Shadell. One half of Paging the Simpsons, joined by my lovely fiance.
Hi, it's Lauren.
And we're gonna get into it today. I wanted to talk on a topic that we touched on in our relationship advice segment, you could say. I think last Tuesday, where we talked about a couple having issues about spending, and I thought it'd be an interesting topic for us to get into, because we've been on our own budget for about a year and a half. I like to say year and a half.
Year and a quarter.
But yeah, we've been doing our own budget, and I found an article on Business Insider about this couple that combines their finances to pay off nearly $300,000 in debt. Now, we didn't have that much. If I had to guesstimate it combined, we probably had 20, not including the house. I like to say 20.
Somewhere around there.
15. I don't know. Somewhere around that. 15, 20. So we no longer have that except for the house.
Yeah, so no car loans. We didn't have student loans coming into this, so student loans weren't our issue, which is a lot of people's. My car was already paid off. We paid off his, and just other credit card debt and stuff.
Yeah, because that was about it. We didn't have any, no student loans.
And then all we have is a mortgage.
Yeah. So what we use, which we talked about on last episode, if you didn't catch it, is a software called YNAB.
Mm-hmm. It's need a budget.
Yeah. So it's really helpful. As we mentioned on the last podcast, where you go on and you're able to break down what each thing is. So like we said, Netflix, it went up in price, so it'd be $16, $15 a month, and we would allocate that money, maybe half in the beginning half and half later in that later half of the month, but it would be $16 and change that would go specifically to Netflix, or Hulu would be $6. Every dollar has a name on it, you could say.
Has a purpose.
So that's what we've done, and it's helped out. As some of you guys know, I'm not happy to say this, I'm the spender in this.
He's the headache.
So currently I'm going through, if you know me, I'm currently going through trying to save anything. Literally, if I find $1 on the floor, it's going towards my Tesla fund. Yeah.
He says as he goes to McDonald's.
I haven't done any of that. Haven't ordered anything. Literally everything. I have money I was saving. I don't even know for how long that I socked away, and I'm okay. I'm cool. Got a nice little startup. Throw that in my Tesla fund. Okay. Anything I get, and I'm damn. The next time I'm probably gonna get money is my birthday, and that's a while away. I'm shoot. You know what you gotta give me, right? Give me a cool $100 bill. Goddamn. So we have everything broken out in you need a budget in the software.
Mm-hmm. And then we have our own spreadsheets that our financial wellness coach had made for us. They're his version, where it shows our incomes and our spending plan. If you have a debt snowball and all that different stuff. It's very detailed.
Now within this, because we have to have all our funds in one bank account, we have to have a joint bank account here, which I feel like everyone should have.
Which just makes it easier too, honestly, because basically and especially people who are married, and it's the whole when you're married, it's just all of your money. But for real, when you literally just All your deposits and everything goes in this one account. When I'm going through every couple weeks and I'm budgeting, it's just from this lump sum number. Like, I'm not looking at, well, technically this amount was from him and this. No, like, I'm literally just taking this lump sum from 2 weeks of both of us and, like, divvying it out. And, like, it kind of just makes it more effective. Because at the end of the day, you're all just trying to pay your bills and, you know, go on vacation together or whatever. It's all stuff that you both do. And there's the trust factor. I mean, if you're married or in it for the long haul or whatever, I mean,
and hey, in the software you can add another checking, but I'm not sure exactly how that works.
Something about it's complicated, and he says it's just better.
Interesting. So based on this article I'm looking at here,
hey, her name's Lauren too.
So this couple, they recently got married, and not recently. They've been married for 3 years. And they have a lot of debt. A lot of it's student loans. A lot of it's like, I don't even know, probably credit card debt. It's a lot of money.
Wow. She had $276,000?
Yeah. Well, that's because of student loans had $270,000 in that.
So if you think about it, see, this is another thing. If you have a joint account, again, everything just kind of goes to the greater good. Once you're married, your debt is each other's debt, because people could be like, well, she brought in the most debt, blah, blah, blah. But like, really, you have to tackle it one way or the other.
Because if that person dies, you still have to pay for it.
Do you?
I think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure. Because I've
as a spouse, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how it works if you're not married.
Well, yeah, if you're not married, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, once you have debt, you just need to get that out.
And so one of the things, I feel like beforehand, we didn't really have a great system when it came to like money. Like we had something where like we would allocate a certain amount, and it's kind of like an honor system.
Yeah, and we didn't.
And like
we didn't really truly know like why we were allotting certain amounts versus like when we worked with him, he has us like calculate very specifically like why we do this much for groceries, why we do this much for gas. Like there's actual calculations and patterns, and you also have to go in and update it every now and then, like the electric, gas, water, sewer, and supplements, because that's a big one for me. I literally just updated those yesterday, because over time the average is going to change. So it only changes by a few dollars either up or down, but hey, again, every dollar counts.
So looking through this couple, as it was for them, it was a source of friction in their relationship. It was for us, because we're like, damn, we want to get a new place. We don't know how we're going to do it. We also didn't know about like a wedding, and here we are. Like so many things that were like,
yeah. So like, for example, to fund our wedding, we're basically using for this entire year, every month, what we were using to put in our savings goal, which was a house. And so like, but it's good because we're funding it from cash. We're not going into debt for the wedding, but it just stinks because for an entire year, we put our savings on hold.
And for them, it was interesting because they go on to say like this might sound crazy, but debt has helped our relationship. And I'm kind of curious to know what your take is on that. Like, has debt helped our relationship as far as like trying to pay this off, and then being like, okay, like we know we're good, we know we're not like owing to someone except for the mortgage, owing to someone every month.
I mean, so individually, I just always loved the idea of debt freedom because, yeah, why you want to keep paying interest, and why you want to, keep paying something when you could, put it towards something else. Relationship wise, I think now it's finally helping. I think we had a little bit of a rocky road in some places. But I think now that we're finally like truly debt free, besides the mortgage, you always got to say that because that technically is a debt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, now that we are, it's helpful because we can kind of both see the bigger picture. I think for us, the bigger picture can differ a little bit, and that's why we have to be a little more clear on it. But in the end, I mean, we both see that there's a greater good, that we can put our money towards better things.
Yeah, because as I'm like thinking about this, like I've been thinking lately, I'm like, okay, so we're looking at getting a house within the next few years.
God
we're having
willing.
a nice down payment.
God
yeah,
willing.
And I'm like, if our cars go downhill within the next few years, like that's gonna be interesting too. Because I'm like, how are we gonna pay for all of that?
Well, and that's something we work with him.
That's I'm just like that's where it becomes tricky, because I'm also reading this article and they're like, frame questions as what if. It's like, what if we get a house that is
Mr. doesn't like what ifs.
What you use what ifs in like problematic situations.
I use them in all situations.
I'm using what ifs as in like ideas.
I do too.
No, use them as in like, what if this goes wrong? What if this goes like
you
this?
You just said, what if the cars crap out?
But like, it's not like a negative. It's not like a. But it's not something that has happened, so I'm not too stressed on it. So it's more so like you're worried about like going out somewhere and you're like, what if someone sees me looking hideous?
I don't say that because I look fly all the time.
But they say frame questions as what ifs, and like that's one of the things where I'm like, okay, what if we do look at a place that is $300,000, or maybe we have to go to a certain place where what's like a certain town may have a house that costs $300,000, and you may not get the greatest things from it, versus if you go to like the next town over, it's like, okay, you're getting a lot for what you're paying there. So it's like framing questions and talking to your partner about them, I feel like has helped us. We've put pictures like on our refrigerator of like the houses that we are looking for, as I guess a vision board, if that makes sense.
A visual to keep us accountable.
So that's how like we're sharing like our money goal, or like where we're hoping to get to in the future. I'm hoping that like once this wedding is like done, that we can like go back to like putting money and saving. I'm hoping that in the near future I get a promotion at work. Hoping for a lot of things to like play out, because that's what I'm like.
Well, yeah, and obviously that's the thing too, is you hope that as time goes on, whatever your situation is, that, yeah, it's like you get a promotion or you get a better position or your business blows up or whatever. Like you kind of, it's both having a plan with what you currently have and aspiring for more, so that obviously you can save more aggressively or you can do whatever quicker or easier. So like, because that's the thing, is you kind of have to do both. And
the other thing with the service we're using, we talked about it on the past episode there, but as if you have a certain amount allotted to you of like spending money, like, hey, you could spend 100 because that's what's allotted to you, and you go over like 101, 102, whatever, it lets you know and says like, hey, it's
red and it makes you feel bad.
It's a negative a certain amount. It's that's kind of like a thing to like hold yourself accountable, and hopefully your partner hold you accountable to be like, okay, what happened here? Like, and if it's kind of a trend, then it's like, okay, you may have to ease back. Like, I know that's happened to me a few times in the early stage of this, and I'm like, I know
it trains you.
So it's like,
because it basically, like, when you have enough money, it's green, and when you go over, it's red. It's like green means go, red means stop. It's basic, like, but it gets the point across.
If it doesn't happen too often, and if it's like a few hours over, like 2 or 3, I'm like, okay, like normally it's fine. It's not too bad because we have.
But the interesting thing is, he has us basically at the end of every month. If we see red numbers, it's kind of like you go through and you be like, uh-oh.
You would have to go in and you would have to like correct it.
But you have to, because again, it's a behavioral thing. You're trying to train yourself to use money better, have a better relationship with money. That's why we see him instead of like a personal, what's the word, financial advisor, because they're more just about like, what do we do with the money? He's more about like, how do we do what we do with the money? Like, and so when we see red, it's kind of like we have to go and ask ourselves, we have to be like, so why did it go over? Is this something that was accidental? Is it something that we need to better budget for? Do we need to increase the budget? Or, those kind of things. Like there's a few questions we have to ask ourselves. And then, I mean, we cover the overflow from our like retained earnings, which essentially is like savings.
And here we just have someone that just yawns all the time on the mic.
Sorry.
Like, damn, I didn't know I was that boring.
So, yeah. Oh God, you just made me lose my train of thought. Oh, so basically, yeah. Then you have to take from your savings or another category, and you feel that too because the goal is to save as much as you can towards your goals, whether that's a vacation or a house or a car or whatever. Like, so every time you go over something, you're kind of just hurting yourself in that fact.
And the app is cool because it shows like your age of money. I always look at this from time to time.
Yeah.
So like month by month, it shows like, okay, you had 1,000 this month, and the next month you had 2,000, and then the following month it went down back to 1,000, and then you start thinking like, okay, and like from what I understand, the age of money like section that they have on the software, it's like it kind of shows you like how long has money like been in your account, because of course the goal is to like keep as much as you possibly can. Of course, you're not going to be able to keep it all, but as much as you can to it, and like just seeing that like grow over time is like really interesting. Yeah. One of the things that this article I'm looking at goes over is ask about your significant other's like upbringing. What?
That plays a role. And it's kind of funny because it can really go either way. Because, for example, it's like, yeah, I saw that my parents always struggled. They were always in a lot of debt. And they were always, you know, my dad was always working overtime because he had to, not because he wanted to. And so I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. And so I went the way of I'm going to save as much as possible because I feel more comfortable with a cushion, you know, versus I don't want to be in a predicament where we have to be in so much debt and it's a snowball and you just get stuck. Versus you could go the other way and you could be like, cool, they were that way, but I'll be smarter. So I'm going to spend and I'm going to, you know, be more frivolous. Like, you know, you really could go either way, but it definitely does affect you.
Yeah. See, mine's different because it's my family, like, I wouldn't say they didn't have much, but like they spent their money on like the essential stuff that you would need for there's 4 of us, 4 of us. So there wasn't really much there. So in my head, I kind of flipped a little bit because I'm like, shoot, I'm working now. I have a card now. I'm like, shoot, I can afford the things I want to afford in a sense. I'm like, so like, yeah, that's why I went. I'm just like, I'm gonna get whatever I want. And that's not the greatest mindset, but it's like when you're young and you finally get into money, I feel like that's where a lot of people go through. And I had like some of these conversations with friends where like they still have like debt they have, and it's just something. If you don't have a family member like trying to like guide you in that, I feel like you just fall victim to it. Because you're like, shoot, you have like out of nowhere, you have all this money that you can like spend on whatever you want. Especially if you're working and
you also were a perfect example of why you shouldn't go off the deep end when you first get a credit card. Because just because you have a card where, yes, you can swipe and you can buy things does not mean you have the money to pay for it.
I mean, so I was future thinking because I was like, I'm going to get a good job. It's going to kill it. And I did get that good job. Still have a good job.
Yeah, but basically he was in 10 grand of debt when we first met. So that was before.
Was that?
Yes. That was before I was even a thing. Because basically he was like, oh, I'm going to get this TV and this Xbox and this computer and this, like, he kind of went crazy, but didn't have any means to pay for it. So
yeah, I did. I had a. Oh, you're not here. I had a future plan.
Future.
Like I was like, yo,
you were still getting tons of interest, waiting for that future.
Yo, I'm only gonna be at Target for a little bit.
Yeah, and that took longer than expected.
Stack this little bread, and then I'm gonna go to some other place and stack that big bread.
Okay, well, it took longer than expected.
No, it didn't. It was right on schedule.
You're also forgetting the fact that I helped you pay off that debt.
If you weren't,
I came up with a strategy.
No, if you weren't there, I would have paid it off,
babe.
And I also would have a Tesla by now.
No, wow! You want the Tesla instead of me?
This is why I see my way out.
Get tangled in those cords. Why don't you?
That's why I see myself out.
Okay, no, but really, yeah, so he's always had that tendency of spending and racking it up and not thinking.
Whoa. And so there goes my next thing also. I'm like, here's something I thought randomly, we're just going to say it on air. And so I'm like, okay, how's this going to work? Like, when it comes to the like, having a house and then, like, also getting a car. Like, because our mortgage is probably going to, in my mind, probably double.
Well, yeah, the mortgage goes up, but again, our incomes are going to go up.
In America, your income does not go up; it goes down. Oh my gosh! Because that's my thought. I'm like, I'm so worried about that fact that I feel like our income is. I'm thinking our income is going to stay the same. Our mortgage is going to double, and then we're going to have. If our car breaks down, then it's like, okay, there goes the car for whatever one of us, whoever, and then like, okay.
I don't know. Then again, like that's why we're still working with him. That's something like that we bring up because he probably has a better strategy for that.
I mean, but that's way down the road.
Right.
I'm just like, that's one of my worries. So what, you plan on just having someone like always there?
No, but oh my gosh. We'll talk about it.
Because that's one of my fears. I'm like, shoot. I don't think we got the money for this.
Well, again, and that's why we're saving a massive down payment to bring the mortgage down, too.
We hope to.
Like a more massive down payment than ordinary people do, like, just to clarify. Like we're not trying to save, like $5,000 and get a house that's, like, crazy money.
Yeah.
So that alone brings the mortgage down monthly because it's a lot.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, like, as much as I can with, saving what I can for, like, my future car, whether that's a Tesla or whatever car. Listen to what I'm saying. Because I'm like, if I can, like, for my next car, if I can get a good amount to, like, do something with for that next car, whatever that may be, I'm like, that would be helpful. And then, like, let's say if I need an extra of whatever else that we have that can go towards, like, the down payment to get it to, like, a reasonable amount monthly, I'm like, that would be so ideal. So it's like, we may not be saving or thinking about that now, but the fact that I'm doing it now is a good idea.
Well, yeah, anything we can do now to save or to prepare for things down the road, that's exactly what we're doing.
Yo, give me a pat on that back, girl. Right there. Give me a pat. Ow.
No. Anything we can do, because it's just like my AC compressor in my car got fixed a couple days ago. Finally. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was a miserable end of the summer last year without it. But, yeah, and that cost like $700-800, and we saved that over time. And so it was funded by cash, and we weren't worried about it. Just like he now has to get his brakes changed, and some things, they do happen kind of out of nowhere, but you usually have some sort of cushion. Like, for example, we have like an extra 100 or something out of the 300 he'll need for the brakes in the fund already. So now we just put another couple hundred like over the next month.
Yeah.
And
you have to like kind of anticipate these things, because it's like brakes you get probably like every 2 years. Like oil changes every couple of months. Right.
So then after we're done, like after he's done with the brakes, we don't really have repairs that we have in the foreseeable future. Knock on wood. But we'll still be putting like $100 a month into the category, because then if something happens, car repairs aren't cheap. So, like if 6 months from now we have $600 and need $600, there you go.
I was looking and like, what do you call it? We like save like. What do you call it? Where we live, it's like we're kind of like we're part of like a condo association, so we have to put down for that. Mm-hmm. And like we have like a fund that we put like money in there in case anything was to happen. We need a new roof, something happens with the sewer, whatever.
Not assessment. What was it called?
Just to say association fee. Keep it simple.
It's not though. The condo fee is different.
Well, keep it whatever. If we have to pay something immediately.
When we first moved in, we had like.
Man, no one needs these details.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Good for you. When we first moved in, we had $1,000 repair like 2 weeks after moving in. For the sewer, something in the front yard had to get fixed because it was affecting the whole condo. So we have a 3-unit condo, so we each paid a third, which was still $1,000 because it was a $3,000 repair. which we were not prepared for. And then something else happened. What else happened to this place? So, I don't know. Something else happened where we had to do. So basically what we did is it came out to like, we saved like $63 a month. Was like the average from those couple incidents. And so say like, for example, our driveway, like we're gonna have to replace that sooner or later, like the part that has the dent or whatever. Yep. And that's gonna be hundreds of dollars for each unit. And so we literally have a section we budget for a just in case this happens for the condo like area, which not everybody has to have obviously, but it's like our version of home repairs, which we have a home repair section actually too, but not a lot goes into there because that's more of like inside stuff. Like, you know, we got to fix this doorknob or like something like that. Mm-hmm. So for us, we put more of it towards that like general, like if, you know, the roof is good here, but like the whole driveway, if it needs replacing or something like that stuff adds up.
Yeah. So whenever that time comes where we're at a meeting and they're like, well, we should think about changing this within the next, 6 months to a year or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we're not sitting there like, oh shoot, where are we going to get this money from? Because it's like, we've been saving it for however long. And it's like, okay, no problem to us. You guys, the rest of everyone else that's living here has to figure this out. And we're like, hey, here's a check.
Because those stink, guys. Those stink. When it's like a whole condo thing and it's like, surprise, you have to do this now. Like those stink.
Yeah. So having the budget, it's helped in a lot of ways. I'm trying to think of like other ones where it's like, this is a breeze. Like around like car taxes in our state, we have to pay it. It's like having an idea of like what that's gonna be and like being able to like put money aside for it.
Literally, we are saving like it's a couple dollars a month for like our emissions. Mm-hmm. Emissions are only $20 every 2 years. Yep. But literally that's their driver's licenses, registrations, like all those are categories.
Yeah.
Like literally,
like anything you could think of that is like a reoccurring thing you can say.
Yeah, and you put the dates, and when like one comes, then you recalculate how much you need till the next one. Like, yeah, it just makes life easier. And you could always go in the app and like see, like we could be on a date and we could be like, okay, like we need this much if we want to go to this place for dinner. Do we have that? Like it's just kind of it trains you to use it in a smart way. And it's not to deprive you either, because that's why you have like a date fund and a blow money fund and like things like that. Mm-hmm. You can still do like fun stuff. It's just the fact that I think people are too YOLO sometimes, that like, they're using too much of it. So like, if we have $100 for dates every month, but then the next person has $300 and say we all have the same amount of income, like that may be then stunting your savings plan.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you have to come to that happy medium where you're still going out, you're still having fun, you're not completely neglecting yourself or the relationship or whatever, but you're also not, you do have to live with the fact that maybe you can't do everything you want right now, because it is, you kind of have to save towards the greater good.
It's not really, and it's like, even though we have a certain amount allotted to like dates, I don't really feel like it's constricting, because primarily because we work and we're busy, and then also the fact is you're busy on the weekends. Mm-hmm. So like trying to have something, it's tough. It's a bit tricky. So it's like we may have a weekend that we go out, and like that may be it, or maybe it's 2 weekends out of the month. Like it doesn't seem too like, okay, you have like 100 there. That seems a bit restricting. We can't go this, and it's really not that bad. Like $100, you can probably go out to eat like twice and go to something or whatever. Like,
well, yeah, like the other day, like, we spent like $45 in Rhode Island,
and it's
with lunch and milkshakes, and yeah, we were just like, okay, it's the beginning of the month, so yeah, it kind of stinks, but like, okay,
having
half of it's gone.
Having the budget has, for us, created a lot of peace of mind, and gives you like a visual on what your future is going to look like, because you're saving this towards it.
It really puts in perspective, because I was telling him this the other day. I had to send my accountant like our projected income for the year. So between like, what does he do gross? What do I do gross with all my different stuff? And I told him, I'm like, you know, when you put it in perspective, like day to day, we feel like, oh, maybe we're not doing that well, or we don't make as much, or like whatever. But like when you actually put in perspective what each of us make and what that looks like combined, and then how we're using it, we're so much better off than a lot of people can say. Yeah. Based on, one, yes, how much we make, and two, like what we do with it.
Yeah.
Because we're really not that bad off. Like it's definitely one of those things.
I feel like I'm struggling.
Right.
Money.
Like when you're in it, you're always like, oh, I could do better, or I could make more, or I could, go on more vacations or whatever. But it's, it's a step-by-step process. Everyone gets to where they're going at different rates and that whole thing. But I feel like we're really not in a bad place. Like, yes, I really want to get the heck out of here because I hate our neighbors, and I want to get like a nice individual house where we're not connected to people, we're not around awful people. Like, I just want to get our own house.
Space. We don't have people knocking on the door saying, "Yo, come to church with us."
I mean, that's still gonna happen. But anyways, so it's like yes, I want to have that, but at the same time, we're not in a bad position.
Yeah.
So financially.
Man, I think that's all I really got for this one. It's really it's creating your budget. I would totally suggest checking out the software called YNAB. They have an app that you can sign up on, or you can go on the website and try it out. I think you have a month trial. And from there, it's like, go through like your bank account and see what everything's been for like the last 2 months. Like if you have Netflix, okay, you have $12 you have to like tie in, and you could start this for like the following time this charge is going to come out. So if Netflix comes out in June, 25th, you put that money aside for June 25th, and like you just slowly bit by bit start throwing these dollar amounts in, like allocating it to certain categories, and just future planning for your following month, just making life easier.
Yeah, and I think we can leave a link. Can you leave a link in the descriptions of podcasts?
If I remember.
Is it like YouTube and all that?
If I remember it.
On YouTube and podcasts and all that, we'll leave a link to it because, yeah, I think we can leave our little affiliate link if you guys love us.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets freebies.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. Check it out. I want to know anyone's thoughts that does check this out, and if it helps you, I'm totally down to hear it and throw it up on the podcast.
To be clear, too, you also have to kind of calculate stuff accurately for yourself, too, though, for it to work. Yeah. You have to work it for it to work for you.
Yep.
So
yeah.
And it takes a while to adjust.
Yeah. Like, one thing real quick to add to that, like gym. Gym would be like $10. Like for us, it's like $10 and change, like the exact amount. You have to fill out. You would add it up for 12 months, and then also you would add in, like our gym has a annual fee. And
we both have them.
So you have to add that in
January and February. So you have to make them like...
Dog, let me get some word in.
Sorry. I was getting into it.
So you'd add that all in, and then you would just divide that by 12 and, start adding that cost in.
Well, you don't necessarily divide by 12. Again, it's if you start in this month, but your maintenance fee is due in 6 months, you have to actually do some serious math. It's very interesting.
Oh, no, I'm totally down. If you have questions, shoot us an email. I'll probably toss that all to Lauren to answer.
Oh, am I doing the outro?
Yeah. No, I'm saying if anyone emails, I'm tossing all those questions to you.
Fine. I'll talk to you guys.
But yeah, that's how I'm feeling on this one. Just some tips. I just feel like it would be helpful for everyone because it's been helpful for us.
Just the tip.
That is inappropriate. With that being said, guys, yeah, if you want to do the outro, be my guest. I don't have to do anything. My hands are up. Let's go.
The roof is on fire.
Waiting.
High five. So, if you enjoyed this podcast, we would love if you would send us a rating and or review on Apple Podcasts. And you can subscribe, Apple, Spotify, all those places, wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts. We're there. We're everywhere for you guys. So, yeah, subscribe to us. Okay. Send us an email. PagingTheSimpsons@gmail.com if you have any questions, concerns, you'd like to voice your opinion on this podcast, you'd like to be featured, all that good stuff. Follow us on all our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Also Paging the Simpsons, but Twitter's Paging Simpsons because, Twitter. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching today, guys, and we'll see you in the next podcast. Bye.
Hold on. Whoa. There's one last part.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so I'm the better half here. Remember, respect. I'm the better half of the two parts of Paging the Simpson. I'm Lauren, and I'm joined by my he's all right, kind of average fiance.
Okay. Oh, Shadell. I didn't know that's where you go with that. Like, okay.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, because I always have to say my name when you say I'm joined by my fiance, and he's over here like. I got a name. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Bye.
All right. Peace.